Stop everything you're doing right now. Stop, because what I'm about to tell you is going to shake the very foundation of everything you thought you knew about WWE. The company you've been watching, the product you've been invested in, the direction you've either loved or hated, it's all about to change. And not for the better. Triple H, the man who saved WWE from itself, the guy who gave us everything we've been begging for since the Attitude Era ended, the person responsible for the best creative WWE has produced in 20 years, has just been stripped of his creative power. That's right. Paul Levesque, your chief creative officer, the game, the cerebral assassin, the man who built NXT into a wrestling paradise, no longer has final say over WWE programming. And you want to know who does? Nick Khan, a suit, a businessman, a guy who's never laced up a pair of boots, never taken a bump, never understood what makes wrestling wrestling. The man whose only concern is stock prices and quarterly earnings reports is now making decisions about storylines, match finishes, and who gets pushed to the moon or buried 6 feet under. If you're not absolutely furious right now, you haven't been paying attention. This isn't just a corporate reshuffle. This isn't just backstage politics. This is a hostile takeover of everything that's made WWE watchable again. And if we don't make noise about this, if we don't let WWE know that this is unacceptable, we're going to watch in real time as everything Triple H built gets torn down brick by brick and replaced with the same garbage we suffered through during the darkest days of Vince's out-of-touch booking. Let me paint you a picture of what WWE was before Triple H took over creative. It was a wasteland. It was 50-50 booking where nobody looked strong. It was champions losing non-title matches every single week. It was talent getting called up from NXT only to be repackaged with idiotic gimmicks that stripped away everything that made them special. It was 3-hour Raws that felt like 9-hour endurance tests. It was WrestleMania main events that nobody wanted to see. It was Roman Reigns being shoved down our throats 4 years while the crowd literally booed him out of buildings. Remember that? Remember when WWE's solution to fans rejecting their chosen one was to pipe in fake crowd noise and mute the audience? That's the WWE Nick Khan wants to return to. Then Vince McMahon retired, or was forced out, depending on who you ask, and Triple H took control. And what happened? Everything changed. Suddenly, long-term storytelling mattered again. Character development became a priority. Matches had clean finishes. Wrestlers were allowed to be themselves instead of cartoon characters. NXT call-ups were treated with respect. The women's division became must-see television. Tag teams actually mattered. And most importantly, the shows became fun to watch again. Triple H understood something that corporate executives will never understand: wrestling fans aren't stupid. We can tell the difference between genuine storytelling and corporate-mandated content designed to sell merchandise and satisfy shareholders. Under Triple H's creative direction, we got the Bloodline saga reaching its peak. We got Cody Rhodes' emotional journey to finish his story. We got Gunther's legendary Intercontinental Championship run. We got LA Knight going from forgotten mid-carder to one of the most over acts in the entire company. We got Centimeter Punk's return handled perfectly. We got women's wrestling taken seriously with stars like Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, and Io Sky getting real storylines instead of being afterthoughts. Here's a question for you: what's been your favorite Triple H creative decision since he took over? Drop it in the comments because we need to remind WWE what they are about to lose. Now let's talk about Nick Khan. Who is this guy? He's a former CIA agent who joined WWE in 2020 as President and Chief Revenue Officer. His job was to make money, and I'll give him credit, he's good at that. He negotiated massive television deals. He helped facilitate the merger with UFC under the TKO umbrella. He's made investors very happy, but making money and understanding wrestling are two completely different skill sets. Nick Khan looks at WWE as a content library, a revenue stream, a product to be monetized. He doesn't see it as an art form. He doesn't see it as the passion project of millions of fans worldwide. He sees spreadsheets and profit margins. And now this man has creative control? The reports coming out of WWE headquarters are absolutely terrifying. Sources are saying that Nick Khan has been pushing for more celebrity involvement, more mainstream crossover appeal, more moments designed to go viral on social media instead of organically developing from good storytelling. He wants shorter matches because analytics show that younger viewers have shorter attention spans. He wants more comedy segments because they test well with casual audiences. He wants champions who look like movie stars regardless of whether they can work in the ring. Does any of this sound familiar? It should, because it's exactly the same philosophy that nearly killed WWE before Triple H saved it. Here's what's going to happen, and I'm calling it right now. Within 6 months, we're going to see everything that made WWE great again get systematically dismantled. Long-term storylines will be abandoned halfway through because they are not generating enough social media engagement. Talented wrestlers will be pulled from featured positions and replaced with celebrity guests and influencers who can barely throw a worked punch. Match quality will decline because Khan's analytics team determines that viewers tune out after 8 minutes, so nothing will be allowed to go longer than that. Character work will disappear in favor of performers delivering scripted promos written by Hollywood writers who've never watched a wrestling match in their lives. But wait, it gets worse. Remember how Triple H brought back all those released talents that Vince had fired for no good reason? Johnny Gargano, Candice LeRae, Dakota Kai, Karrion Kross, Hit Row, all brought back because Triple H saw value in them and had plans for how to use them. Under Nick Khan's regime, those same people are going to find themselves on the chopping block again. Because to a businessman, they are just expenses on a balance sheet. They are salaries that could be reduced to improve quarterly earnings. And if they are not moving merchandise or driving television ratings through the roof immediately, they are expendable. Question for the comments: which released superstar that Triple H brought back are you most worried about losing again? Let's talk about NXT for a second, because if you think the main roster is in danger, the developmental brand is absolutely doomed. Triple H built NXT into the best wrestling show on television. It was where real wrestling happened, where future stars were properly developed, where storylines made sense and matches were given time to breathe. Under Khan's business-first approach, NXT will go back to being nothing more than a farm system designed to churn out cookie-cutter performers who fit specific demographics that test well with focus groups. The NXT we know and love, the one that produces classics like Gargano vs. Ciampa or any Gunther match, will cease to exist. And here's the thing that makes me absolutely sick to my stomach: Nick Khan doesn't answer to wrestling fans. He answers to TKO executives and shareholders. Do you know what those people care about? Return on investment, stock performance, year-over-year growth. They don't care if Roman Reigns vs. Cody Rhodes was the best storytelling WWE has done in a generation. They care whether it sold enough Peacock subscriptions and moved enough merchandise to justify the expense. They don't care if Gunther put on wrestling clinics every single week. They care whether his segments retained viewers through commercial breaks. This is what happens when a wrestling company goes public. This is what happens when you prioritize Wall Street over the wrestling business. Triple H understood the balance. He knew how to give fans what they wanted while still making money. He proved that good creative and strong business results aren't mutually exclusive. His tenure as head of creative has been WWE's most profitable period in years while also being the most critically acclaimed. But apparently that's not enough for Nick Khan and the TKO brass. They want more money, even if it means sacrificing everything that's making the product successful. I've seen people online saying, "Oh, you're overreacting. This is just rumors. Nothing's been confirmed." And to those people I say, wake up. WWE doesn't officially confirm these things until it's too late. They don't send out press releases saying, "Hey, we're about to ruin everything you love." This is how it always starts, with backstage reports, with whispers, with small changes that seem insignificant until you look back 6 months later and realize the entire landscape has shifted. Remember when people said the same thing about Vince's out-of-touch booking? Oh, it's not that bad. He's just trying new things. Look where that got us. The wrestling business has always been a constant battle between art and commerce, between what makes good television and what makes easy money. Triple H was fighting that battle for us. He was the buffer between corporate demands and creative integrity. And now that buffer is gone. Now we're at the mercy of a man who sees wrestling as nothing more than content to be optimized for maximum profitability. Here's another question: do you think WWE can maintain its current quality without Triple H in creative control? Be honest in the comments. What can we do about this? We make noise. We let WWE know on every social media platform that this is unacceptable. We support the wrestlers who are going to be hurt by this decision. We vote with our wallets by canceling Peacock subscriptions if the product declines. We show up to live events with signs. We trend hashtags. We make it impossible for WWE to ignore that their fanbase is furious. Because if we stay silent, if we just accept this corporate takeover, we deserve whatever garbage product they are about to feed us. This isn't just about Triple H. This is about the future of WWE. This is about whether we're going to get real wrestling or corporate-approved entertainment. This is about whether storylines will matter or if everything will be sacrificed for viral moments and celebrity appearances. This is about the soul of a company that's been part of our lives for decades. And right now, that soul is in danger. Final question for all of you: will you continue watching WWE if the creative quality drops back to pre-Triple H levels? Let me know in the comments, smash that like button if you're as angry as I am, and share this video everywhere because WWE needs to know that we're not going to sit quietly while they destroy everything we love.